Notice of this meeting was provided to the Cranford Chronicle, advertised on January 16, 2015. Notification was sent to the Star Ledger and promptly posted on the municipal public bulletin board and filed in the office of the municipal clerk, forming the public time and place according to the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Law, Chapter 231, PL 1975. Please silence all the cell phones. Thank you. Roll call, Ms. Ariema.
Mayor Borough.
Here.
Councilman Martin.
Here.
Councilman Matthews.
Here.
Councilman Pizzelli.
Here.
Councilman Tarantino. Here. Councilman Disco. Here. And Council President Mearsden.
Excused. Motion to extend the regular order of business to hold public hearing on proposed assessment and curb improvement to Willow Avenue, New Street, and Myrtle Avenue, as advertised in the Westfield Leader on August 20th, 27th, and September 3rd, 2015.
So moved, Mayor.
Does anyone present wish to?
Second.
Does anyone present wish to be heard concerning the assessment? Seeing none, motion, oh, sorry.
Yes. I'm against the assessment. I understand that I missed the meeting in 08, but I don't think I should be paying for something that gets installed in a dead-end street.
Thank you. Does anyone, oh, sorry, keep missing everybody. Mr. Patterson. He was absent last time.
I gotta make up time here. Good evening, Mayor Lombardo, Bruce Patterson, 325 Willow Avenue, and ladies and gentlemen of the council. This gentleman here, Leon, I guess. Igor, okay. I guess his assessment is $1,972. You're gonna increase his taxes by $1,972, is that
I
what
don't
you're
believe
saying?
that's correct.
Okay, could you explain it?
This is what I attempted to explain. It's an assessment. In other words, that's the entire amount that what's listed on that sheet is what the entire amount that anybody will owe. It is not a tax. It's an assessment. It can be paid in a lump sum. It can be paid over 10 years at relatively minimal interest, less than 2%. So it doesn't affect anyone's taxes. It's essentially a one-time assessment to pay for the curb. That's it. So it doesn't increase the taxes.
I guess it's high because the corner lot, is that the reason?
It's the amount of street frontage, basically.
Yeah, it must be a corner lot. The curbs are there already then, I guess.
Yes.
How are these dollars determined?
They're based on the cost of the bids that were received for the particular items. When we get the bids, they specify what the price is for each component of the work. So, for example, we would have gotten a bid for so much asphalt for the roadway, so much per lineal foot of curbing and so forth. So they're assessed at the borough's cost for the curbing.
When you're talking assessment, I mean, there's the property assessment and then the structure assessment.
Has absolutely
That's
nothing to do
different, that's a
with that.
completely
Has
different.
absolutely nothing to do with that.
Okay. And just one thing, Fanwood, as they're replacing curbs or improving curbs, they're actually using Belgian block. I don't know if you ever want to think about that in the future. There's certain neighborhoods, I have a house over there, but there's certain neighborhoods that, it makes it really look nice with Belgian block curbs. More expensive, of course, but.
Yeah, it's not a lot more expensive, to be honest with you. You'd have to take that up with the engineer. I think he's considered that, but I don't remember whether it's, I guess one thing is that most of the curbing is in town, and do you want to now start from the Belgian block and, isolated places?
All right. And just one last thing about curbing. South Avenue is a county road, and I know I talked about this before, but it seems like the county will pave the road, but they won't do the curbing, is that correct? Because, I mean, they have paved South Avenue, and the curbs are really falling apart, and it sounds like it's out of the Garwood taxpayers' pockets to upgrade the curb on county roads. You know, if anything, I keep talking about sending resolutions down to the county. Maybe it sounds like something that you and the towns, other towns should get together and say, listen, if you're gonna pave, do the curbing. Because I'll tell you, I drive up and down a lot of these county roads, and the curbing,
Just a little bit of history, that resolution has been in place since 1930s.
okay, explain the resolution then.
As you explained, it's just the roadway, the curbing is upon the local municipality to repair. That's basically what it says.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm mentioning, why don't you see if you
Oh.
can get the resolution changed to where if they're paving, they might as well do the curbing, much like we do internally on our town streets.
I understand.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who drives around the county roads, I mean, the curbs are in poor shape. To the point where somebody getting out of a car could actually probably hurt themselves on some crumbling curb when they step out. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mayor, I do have a comment on
Okay.
the curbs that Mr. Patterson brought up.
Thank you.
If that's okay, I know it's not really curbing assessment, but it's something that myself and Councilman Petrozelli actually discussed with the engineer. I had mentioned to him about Belgian block. They seem much better looking, easier to maintain. If basically a chunk of curb were to go in disrepair, you could just fix that area a lot easier than you could if it was the regular curb that we have right now. And the engineer did say exactly what Mr. Renaud said, which is the town has a certain type now, do you really want to switch it and start that whole process? And then that actually led me into the next point that Mr. Patterson brought up, which is South Avenue, which has atrocious curbs. And our businesses along those roads, you know, they pay a lot in taxes, and they have a beautifully paved road, but the curbs are, again, atrocious. So I guess I'll unveil my thought on that now, which is when we apply for the Union County Infrastructure Grant next year, I really think that we should push for curbs on South Avenue. Although the cost would be on Garwood, let's see how much county dollars we can get back here to actually pay something that I agree they should be paying for in the first place. But that may at least produce results faster for our residents and business owners along South Avenue. Just a thought, but, and Belgian block, getting back to that, the engineer had said that, yes, it is more expensive, but really not that much more expensive. So I think that may be something of value for the council to look at when we look at the next road project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to close public hearing on the assessment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to adopt the assessor's report for curb improvement assessment as presented. So moved.
Second?
Roll call, Ms. Ariano.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Matthews?
Aye.
Councilman Petrozelli?
Aye.
Councilman Tarantino? Aye. And Councilman Fisco?
Aye.
Minutes, please, Ms. Ariano.
Regular meeting of the Mayor and Council held on August 25th, 2015. Workshop session of the Mayor and Council held on August 25th, 2015.
Are there any corrections or changes? Hearing none, may I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented, Mayor.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Ms. Ariano, communications, please.
New Jersey State League of Municipalities Mayor's Advisory.
Receive and file.
Columbus Bridge Association of Union County invitation.
Receive and file.
Township of Cranford resolution.
Receive and file.
County of Union Board of Chosen Freeholders.
Receive and file.
Lorraine Valley Sewage Authority minutes.
Receive and file.
Borough Planning Board minutes.
Receive and file. Ms. Ariano, please read ordinance 15-18 by title only.
An ordinance to amend 21-33, issue of permits, duration, visitor permit, display fees, and 21-37, schedule of resident preferred permit parking zones in Article 14, in Chapter 21, vehicles and traffic, and to amend 21-8, trial parking in Article 1, traffic and parking in Chapter 21, vehicles and traffic. The code of the Borough of Garwood to revise the resident preferred permit parking zone and to revise the 2-hour parking zone by adding additional streets to each.
Do you have a motion to introduce ordinance 15-18?
I'd like to make that motion to introduce ordinance 50-18, Mayor.
Do you have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any discussion? Roll call, please, Ms. Ariano.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Matthews?
Aye.
Councilman Pedroselli? Councilman Tarantino?
Aye.
And Councilman Fisco?
Aye.
Thank you. Council standing committee reports and other reports. Councilwoman Tarantino, police.
Thank you, Mayor. Renovations and upgrades to the police dispatch complex are continuing on schedule. 30 years of extensive phone and radio wiring have been sorted through, removed, or consolidated for the install of the new dispatch console and equipment. The approved vendors and public utilities have been scheduled for the final install, which will take place next week. And in the meantime, uplifts such as paint and minor reconstruction are being completed voluntarily by members of the police department. On August 27th, officers investigated a complaint from Brad Pack Incorporated of 4 suspicious Hispanic male actors trespassing on the property after being requested to leave. Police responded and investigated, and while interviewing the 4 individuals, 2 of them bolted from the officers fleeing on foot across the NJ Transit Railroad tracks. Officers gave chase across the tracks, on which point Officer Kleinstorgen unfortunately slipped on the rails and fell head first onto the railroad ties, sustaining facial bruises and lacerations. Officer Kleinstorgen has been out of work since being treated for possible concussion. He is due back at the doctor's office today, and we expect him back to work shortly. The Garwood Police Department will be taking part in a body-worn camera pilot program being offered by the Union County Prosecutor's Office. The Prosecutor's Office is making close to $1 million available to assist municipalities in funding the purchase of body-worn cameras and support equipment. Cameras, equipment, software storage, and an evidence management program are all offered through Taser Inc. and will be funded for the first year of 3 by the Prosecutor's Office. Municipalities may choose to sign up for additional years up front, locking in pricing and assuring upgrades of the cameras and support equipment every 2.5 years, or opt out after 3 years at their discretion. This project was originally budgeted for this year in response to the state's mandate effective April of 2015 for the use of in-car or body-worn cameras. And Chief Underhill waited for this purchase in anticipation of the funding assistance. So, we had a meeting on it, and Chief explained the, how it all works, and being that the county is funding it the first year, we thought we would, it was good to take advantage of it this year. Participate, yes. That is all. Actually, because the county is picking up the first year, it's
They're putting out approximately 24,000 for our agency.
For the first year for us,
For our
they're saving
agency,
us
first year.
24,000, and then years 2 and 3, we have to put out 10.3.
A little over $10,000, but it doesn't have the slot.
Definitely something to look into.
Right.
Thank you, Chief. Anything else?
That is all for my
Any
report, Mayor.
any comments on the report? Hearing none, do I have a report from Council President Nielsen on public health?
I haven't heard one.
Seeing none. Streets and roads ecology, Councilwoman Tedesco.
Thank you, Mayor. In addition to the regular duties of garbage and brush pickup, to name a few, the DPW has been very busy. They have checked and treated reoccurring sewer lines on a weekly basis. Specifically, they jetted the sewer line at 501 Willow Avenue to clear a blockage. As you probably noticed, all the white line striping around town is complete, and the DPW has begun to stripe the yellow lines as of September 4th. Our DPW has also done in-house maintenance to the asphalt hot box, miscellaneous small equipment, and the garbage packers. They have also continued to weed the downtown area and recreation complex. At the complex, the DPW cleaned up the common area behind residential properties adjacent to the playground equipment, and that area also will be mulched at a later date, and that was something in response to some resident concerns at that area. Debris from the turf field at the recreation complex was also cleaned multiple times. Shade tree pruning was performed on the 300 block of 2nd, 211 Locust along both sides of Center in between North and South Avenues by the underpass, 84 3rd Avenue, and West Street on Borough property next to the bridge. Caffrey Tree Service removed dead trees at the recreation complex. All shade trees, included in the 2015 removal pruning program, have been marked and measured. A dead shade tree was also removed from Center Street along the north side of the underpass, so a lot of tree work there. That's all for my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Any comments? Hearing none, do we have a fire report from anyone? We have a councilman Anderson? Okay, very good. Finance, Councilman Petroselli.
Thank you, Mayor. The Finance Committee met last week to discuss the presentation made to council by Property Pilot. We certainly appreciate the presentation and brief tutorial on the program. However, since this was the first time that we were presented with this information, we feel it would be best to research other providers at this time with other software before we see the borough sign up with one company, especially at a price tag of $10,000 per year. We felt that this due diligence to be necessary and to plan to continue to investigate it before making any recommendation to the council to move forward. We are happy to have this on our radar now, but feel that it is best to be discussed during budget time. And that's all for my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Any comments? Hearing none. Buildings and Grounds, Councilman Matthew.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Laws and License, Councilman Martin.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Tonight there are 3 applications for raffle licenses. Laws and License recommends the adoption of resolution number 15-256 for the application of one on-premise merchandise and one on-premise 50/50 raffle, and one off-premises merchandise raffle to be drawn on October 25th, 2015 at the Westwood, 438 North Avenue, Garwood, by Best Friend Dog and Animal Adoption. That's all from my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Any comments? Hearing none. Councilwoman Tedesco, Recreation.
No report, Mayor.
Committee on Aging, Councilwoman Tarantino.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Libraries, Mayor Representative, Councilman Petroselli.
Thank you, Mayor. September is National Library Card Sign-Up Month, and the staff at the library suggests that if you don't currently have a library card, or if yours has expired, visit the library during the month of September and get an up-to-date card. Your Garwood library card can be used at our library, of course, but also at other local libraries, since we participate in a reciprocal borrowing privileges within the county. In September, the library will resume story time on Wednesday mornings at 10:30 a.m., movies on Friday at 10 a.m., and Monday book club at 1 p.m. On September 8th and 15th at 11 a.m., the library will host a family-friendly exercise program with Clementina Echeverria. On September, what's that?
Sure.
Okay. On September 24th at 6:30 p.m., Justin Lubnow will present a workshop entitled What Every Baby Boomer Should Know About Medicare. After school on October 28th, the library will offer a pencil holder craft for children in 2nd grade or older. On the 30th, local children's author Lauren Kachanowski will be signing books at 4 p.m. The staff of the library would also like to remind the residents that in conjunction with TerraCycle, the library is still collecting empty inkjet cartridges from your home printers. For our efforts, the library receives 2 cents for each item sent to TerraCycle. It is not a lot in return, but the environmental impact is great for keeping these plastics out of our local landfills. The Garwood Library is open Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., Fridays from 9 a.m. to 4:30, and beginning September 12th, the library will resume its Saturday hours of 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And don't forget to check out our updated website and Facebook page. That's all for my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Any comments? Hearing none. School Board Liaison, Councilman Matthew.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Celebration of public events and holidays liaison, Council President Neerstadt.
He didn't give one, but I think Carol Carney went over it with the movie Under the Stars, so.
Thank you. Union County Air Traffic Noise Advisory Board Representative, Councilman Matthew.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Parking Committee, Councilwoman Tarantino.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have an official written report, but tonight we, if you will indulge me, tonight we had the first reading of the residential parking ordinance. And next meeting, we will have hopefully the passing of the ordinance. And as you know from my announcement, I will not be here for that. So I would like to take this opportunity to just thank the committee. You know, this was a long process, and we worked, we had a lot of meetings, and we worked hard. Councilman Petrozelli and Chief Underhill, and we started with Officer, actually, Marion Morelli started on the committee, and then Officer Klein-Sordian, and Kathy Bellagio also. And, you know, we started this because we have a parking problem in town, and I know, you know, we're not gonna solve the parking problem, but we can do our part to, you know, maybe make a dent in it, and that was our objective here. So I really do hope that at the next meeting, this passes with no problems, without a hitch. I will not be here, so I guess, you know, that's all I want to say, that, you know, I really want to see it through to the end, and I almost got there. But, I guess that's all I'm gonna say. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments?
Well, I'll text you the vote after it happens,
Thank
but,
you.
I wanna thank you and your committee for all the hard work on this. I know ever since I pretty much got up here in 2011, it's been something that was discussed, brought to us by residents, you know, one a year at a time, and then more and more residents came in and voiced their concerns about this, and I think the committee really did a great job in bringing this.
Thank you.
And just once again, going through history, this parking situation has always been a problem. All the
Right.
time, so it's good that we brought it to the forefront,
So-
doing it a step at a time.
We're getting, you know, we're getting the teachers into the first aid squad parking lot, we got the spots at Burger King, and then we're, you know, passing the ordinance, getting, the commuters off of these streets, you know, it's something that we can do.
Thank you. Historical Committee, Councilwoman Tedesco.
No report, Mayor.
Administrative Review Committee, Councilwoman Tarantino.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Ariano. Ms. Ariano, please read the officers' reports.
Chief of Police Bruce Underhill, monthly reports for July 2015. Lindy Stefano, zoning code enforcement officer, monthly reports for August 2015. Municipal tax collector Aggie Creswell, monthly report for August 2015. And municipal court administrator Martha Marino, monthly report, July 2015.
I have a motion to accept the officers' report as presented.
So moved, Mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Public comment, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the mayor and council? Please step to the microphone, sign in, and state your full name and address. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Brian Trosdell, 242nd Avenue, Westfield Leader. And briefly give us the executive summary of what the changes were to the parking ordinance, since there were so many people complaining about getting the card, getting the sticker with, you know, visitors, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So the streets that are listed on the ordinance will have, if you're a resident of that street, you can park there. If you're not a resident of that street, you may not park there between the hours listed on the ordinance, which I believe are,
No,
Between-
10
10 to 2, but you can park there for a minimum of 2 hours without a sticker. Residents of that street will get a sticker that they have to place on their rear left window. Also, residents of that street will each get a 2 visitor parking passes for guests. What else, Jasper?
Well, how many, I mean, that one of the issues was how many per house, so you just.
2 visitor parking
Not
passes per
not
household.
just visitors, the regulars.
Any registered car, so you will come down to Ms. Ariana's office and show that you have a registered car to that home, and you will get a parking pass.
And it's on the original same number of streets and blocks that were in the original ordinance. That was introduced
Yes.
back, like, I think in March.
I believe it's the same, right?
It is the same.
It is the same. We made some corrections, I believe, because,
Some of the streets were crossed with another.
right, we did make some corrections because in the beginning, some streets already had an ordinance that were from the 100 blocks that going towards north, they already were covered by a different ordinance. So we were crossing ordinances, so there were some corrections, but in general, it is all the same streets, like all of Second, Third, you know, the main streets. that were included in the original ordinance.
Yes, any other changes that you would, you had in terms of the complaints or the concerns that you can remember?
The major concerns, I believe, were displaying the pass and giving out visitors passes. And we are gonna give out visitors passes, 2 per household.
And with, I think the other, one other concern was contractors.
Contractors are not affected by the ordinance.
Anyone else? Please step forward.
Eileen Cooper, 348 Third Avenue. One discrepancy in the last comment about there always being a parking problem in Garwood. There was not always a parking problem in Garwood until they started approving everything in Garwood without parking. That's number one. And I'm here almost 50 years, so I do definitely know what's going on with parking. What is going to be the cost of the violation when the out-of-town commuters are parking there? Because they do park there now even with 2-hour parking signs. Does anybody know what that will be?
There is a reference to violations, but the violations are whatever violations were normally. So there's not a different violation
Do we-
for this.
Do we know, I don't know what it is now, do you?
No,
I mean, something enough to discourage.
If also, they go past 2 hours.
I'm sorry, what's the fine?
Yeah.
I can go look it up actually. Which specific ordinance?
2-hour parking.
For which street?
Any.
Okay, I'll look it up, thank you.
Also, a quick point about the Burger King spots, 36, correct?
I think it's actually 34.
Okay. Are they all like reserved?
They have not been made available yet.
Okay. Is there any Garwood residents on the list?
When they are made available, it's first come, first served, whoever reserves the spots.
Okay, how much did the taxpayers pay for each spot? Do we know that?
Taxpayers pay.
Do we, or we're like leasing the spots for Burger King, correct? Or are they just giving them to us?
Okay. We will, so a commuter that leases a spot will pay, if you are a Garwood resident,
Right.
you will pay $300, and if you're a non-resident, you will pay $400.
A quarter?
A year,
A year?
a year.
Okay. Could not be more than that. I think Westfield and Cranford is 600.
Right, and we chose to go less than West Street.
For out-of-town commuters, I'm not talking about residents.
And we chose to go less than West Street.
Okay. All right, I think that would be it. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Actually, there was one question that you asked that wasn't answered, which is that the lease provides that the borough doesn't pay for the spaces if they're not leased.
Right, we will, so, the resident, Garwood residents pay the borough $300 a year, and out-of-town residents pay the borough $400 a year. The borough in turn pays Burger King $150 a spot, $125 a spot, a year. But we only pay Burger King if we lease the spot.
All right, so that was the question I asked, how much, so each individual person will have to pay the township, and then you will pay Burger King.
But only if we lease a spot. So if all 34, if we don't lease 15 of those spots, we're not paying Burger King for 15 of those spots.
Okay, and how long do you think it'll be before they're gone? I'd just like to know how many Garwood residents are actually gonna be parking in Burger King, or strictly for mostly out-of-town residents using Garwood as a free parking lot.
I don't know that I understand the question.
Well, I don't understand, I don't understand. I mean, basically, I feel like in Garwood, you can walk or, to wherever you have to go. So is it predominantly for out-of-town commuters? Because that's who's pretty much plugging up our streets, out-of-town commuters.
This was designed for the commuter who's parking in front of somebody's house on Second and Third Avenue, all day long. That's
Correct, I know, I see it, 11 cars every day.
Right, that is really what this was designed for.
Okay.
I mean, if somebody from Garwood wants to rent a spot because they don't want to walk to the train, or they don't want to walk to the bus, then that's
That's
their right to
perfect.
do.
All right, so it's
So it
basically
was
for the
designed
commuters
for the
that are
commuter.
using up the spots on the streets, but that'll alleviate that to the tune of 34 spots.
Right.
area.
And also the signs, the 2-hour parking will alleviate that also.
Right.
Right.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening, Mayor of the Borough. Council, Bruce Patterson, 325. Just a fact-finding question. Councilwoman Palmer, Tarantino, is stepping down. Could someone explain the process? I would assume there's gonna be a replacement put in, or is this seat gonna be empty right up to the end of the year? I remember something happened when Councilman Lincoln moved out of town, so there are 3 names put up, but could somebody please explain the process? Thank you.
I'll do it if you want. The Democratic Committee, since she was elected as a member of the Democratic Party, the Democratic Committee will have a period of 15 days to nominate 3 names from the occurrence of the vacancy. Then the governing body has a period of a grand total of 30 days for the occurrence of the vacancy to appoint someone to replace Councilwoman for the remainder of the term. And that's pretty much the process.
Thank you.
Is that up to 3 or must 3?
Well, that's a complicated question, which pages and pages and pages of legal opinions have been written, but yes, it's 3. It's not up to 3, it's 3.
They must select 3.
Yes, but I'm going to add what I said, which is that there are pages and pages and pages of court opinions and situations where 3 people, for example, 3 people were named, and then 2 of them said either we don't want to be on the list or we don't want to accept, and whether that's enough. And hopefully 3 people will be nominated, 1 will be selected, and we won't have to get into all of that. So that's the plan. I assume is the plan, I should say. I don't know what the plan is, but I would assume that that's the plan.
Thank
Voted
you.
by the full council.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone else? Seeing none. Are there any resolutions anyone wants to leave from the consent agenda? I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented, Mayor.
Roll call, please, Ms. Ariano.
Councilman Martin. Councilman Matthews.
Aye.
Councilman Kuzzelli. Aye. Councilman Tarantino.
Aye.
Councilman Fisco.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano, is there any resolutions deleted from the consent agenda?
Yes, Mayor, resolution 15263 be resolved by the council of Garwood, County, New York State, New Jersey, by authorizing the Board of Administrators. Trustee Aaron, prepare specifications and advertise for the user-based residential cleanup bulk program of type 13 solid waste for the year 2016 in the Borough of Garwood.
Do you have a motion to adopt? Second?
Yes.
Roll call, please, Ms. Ariano.
Councilman Martin. Councilman Matthews.
Aye.
Councilman Kuzzelli.
Aye.
Councilman Tarantino.
Aye.
And Councilman Fisco.
Aye.
Is there any new business the mayor and council may have this evening? Hearing none, we have 3 proclamations: DOW-MIA Remembrance Day, National Childhood Cancer, and National Sickle City Health. Ms. Ariano, please read the payment of claims resolution.
Be it resolved the following claims as approved being the same occupation paid with properly signed and verified, and the payment of payroll expenses is hereby confirmed and ratified.
May I have a motion to adopt payment of claims?
Second.
Roll call, please, Ms. Ariano.
Councilman Martin. Councilman Matthews.
Aye.
Councilman Kuzzelli.
Aye.
Councilman Tarantino. Aye. Councilman Fisco.
Aye.
Regular meeting of the mayor and council will be held on Tuesday, September 22nd, 2015, in council chambers at 7:15 p.m. Workshop session will start at 7 p.m. There will be a public hearing in council chambers on ordinance 15-18 on Tuesday, September 22nd, 2015, at 7:15 p.m. or soon thereafter. Have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Mayor, my last one.
No, you can't.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.